What is up, ladies and gents? Hope we're doing well. I've had a great week. It's been a really awesome week. A lot of great releases have come out. The first one had this album from this dude, Sebastian Yatra. Check, I mean, this guy is just like a freaking beast. Look at these streams. What the heck is my life? So thankful. Yeah, I mixed this record, Lienzo, and mixed this record, Paris. So yeah, go check those out. In addition to that, today, Ariza's record came out, Ariza's album. This is Juan. Juan's my boy. We mix a lot of stuff together. This is an amazing album. Go listen to this thing. And last but not least, right here on New Music Friday, Ta Ta Ta, Burna Boy featuring Travis Scott. This is a really, really slamming, smoking hot record. Really punchy. I got to really, experiment a lot with getting just transients to push and just dealing with really, really, really low, sub-low end. I noticed that listening in my car and listening on AirPods that most systems aren't even conveying the true lower octave of what's happening in this mix. Like we got to put a lot of sub info down there. Pretty quiet master, about negative 12.5 LUFS, which just allowed for all that big low end. In addition to all that coolness, this was also a big moment for my assistant Jackson Hale. This is his first time coming up out of the assistant's chair and co-mixing with me. So he's, I'm credited as the mixer. He's credited as the mix engineer. We worked on this mix side by side right here in this studio, and it's awesome, man. And all the cats that I've worked with, eventually after they rank up for a while and get really, really, really great, I just want to collaborate with them because it doesn't take anything away from me to be able to share that credit. And in fact, it helps the product because I'm getting, instead of 2 ears and 1 mind, I'm getting 4 ears and 2 minds on the project, right? We get to make it even better because I have shortcomings. I have ADHD. I can be a little short-sighted when I'm working on stuff. So it just helps to have more people involved. In addition to that, man, I feel like both in music and out of music, just in this life in general, our responsibility is to build up the next generation to help them step into their power and unlock, their force into the world to make the world a better place. And in this case, make the world a better sounding place. So if we can equip the next generation of audio professionals to have a great life and make a bunch of great records and be able to provide for their families and enhance people's lives around the world by putting out great music, like this is a win. It's a win for everyone. All right, cool. Today I've been having a lot of fun just listening to transients, just working with the initial transient material. I don't know if that's going to be the theme for this video, but we'll just kind of jump into it. I've been like really freaking digging this plugin. I shouted out to, I don't know if this story is important. I remember seeing ads for this like 6 months ago, and then I shouted out to my Instagram followers yesterday. Follow me on Instagram. I said, dudes, what is that plugin? What is that freaking plugin that like lets you put plugins on just the transient or just the tonal? And nobody knew, so I just had to scour the globe and look through 300 different websites to find this thing. So this is in like no way a freaking ad or, I have nothing to do with this. I bought this plugin, but I think this thing is a total game changer and I'm just really digging it. So I want to show it to you guys. Again, not an ad. I'm not about that. This is never going to be that kind of channel where I'm like doing a plugin review or doing no, I'm not about that life. I just mix records and I'm just kind of into just showing off what I'm into, and hopefully you guys freaking dig it and you want to use it too. Maybe not, but there's some things you could do with this that you just can't freaking do with anything else. So check this out. Okay, I have the plugin loaded up on the snare drum. This is another great snare that I just love to use. This is the Live Room Audio Cleaver Heavyweight Sample. It's just been kind of my favorite lately. And, you can do a lot of cool things. So you got like the transient portion up here where you can process stuff. We could just hear what the transient's doing. And then we can solo in and just hear what the tonal is doing. And then you can load in any plugin from any of your libraries into each one, right? So, a creative thing I was trying earlier was like I put elastic pitch on the snare because I want to keep the transient the same. And whenever you pitch shift a snare, like the transient is always the thing that like gets wobbly and warpy and inconsistent. But if I can just do it to the ring of the drum, this could work really well. So I have elastic pitch loaded up. If I lock these in, it's funny, it's whatever, but like if you really needed to modify some of those overtones to just slightly land a little more in key, like doing a subtle shift, it totally works. You know, or if you wanted to go with an effect and just like change the formant. Man, suddenly you're in like an EDM space. Like that could be like a weird pop production snare. You know, pretty crazy. Another thing I was experimenting with was just putting verb only on the sustained part of the snare, like this. Because if we just hear it, it's really nice. Versus if you do a snare on, if you put reverb right off of the snare top, or if you send your snare top mic out to a reverb, it's just like too much transient. It's clicky, it's weird. Yeah, like this, like. Then your reverb has this like, gah! It has this terrible, like, I just don't want transient to feed the reverb, right? So it's so much better if we just take it off and just use it on some of the tonal. Yeah. And then from there too, we can turn the mix all the way up on that thing. That's nice. Or say you want to only like saturate and EQ like just the top of the snare, just the initial transient. Let's close some of these bad boys. Let's put like a back attack on there. You know, let's zero this out. Maybe we can just solo. Pretty sweet. Or we could do the same thing with silica. Let's see what silica is able to do here. Let's drive into it. Let's go saturation only. Yeah, saturation only, no compression. Type Zener Fury. Yeah, okay, let's go with that. That's nice. We'll unsolo it. Now we're going to blend some of that in listening to this snare. Verses. Yeah, it's just cool. It's just like opens up a new way of thinking. Another thing I was thinking you could do is like you could put, here, let's search here. Let's find something. Listen to. From frickin' Audio Movers. So you could stream the mix just from the transient section so that when the client gets it, they're like, the feed is broken. The stream isn't working. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work. We probably can't do this session today. And then boom, your day is cleared and now you can go back to doing whatever you want. You could queue up a little bit of Zelda Ocarina of Time on your N64 and just go for it, baby. I may or may not be speaking from experience right now with a little bit of the goodness here, a little bit of the gold cartridge. Can we fire this baby up just to see what happens? Let's just get a little bit of that song in our lives here, right? Let's see. Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. My little bro right there. Let's crank it up. Good stuff. Okay, got one more trick to show y'all. Here we are again. So another thing, acoustic guitar. Let's zoom way in. Okay, I have this kind of section here. Recording acoustic guitar is really, really, really difficult. It's finicky, it's tough, the picks are hard, they scrape. If you don't hit the string just right, you get a really high-end transient thing. Most people are tracking with a condenser mic, which is just picking up high speed, high frequency, wide bandwidth, incredibly fast, just sharp, attacky sounds, right? And a lot of the time you want that. You want crispy acoustics, but sometimes it's really hard to mix, especially when it's a delicate part like this where you want it to be all smooth and even in its response in the top end. And some of those spikes just come out way harder, right? You might be tempted to use some EQ to get it going, kind of like this. Find it and get rid of it. And it works. The problem is you've reduced the energy in the top end to combat the attack of what is going on with the sound. But all the while, now all the softer stuff that's ringing out that doesn't have a lot of attack is way cloudier and way darker, right? So what I've been experimenting with, and I haven't mastered this yet, but maybe you guys can kind of take the concept and take it to the next level and then like let me know how you were able to do it. Here's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm splitting out the transient. Listen to this. I'm just going to solo one note that's really plucky. Right? Okay, there it is. Okay, here I've got the transient soloed out. Yeah, it's pretty aggressive. It's really sharp. I wish people tracked with ribbons more often. Ribbon mics have a slow, sloshy, just a really soft, darkened top end. It like distorts the it's just way easier on the ears, at least on my ears. But I'm going to try to simulate some of that by opening up a little thing of Saturn just in the top end. And I'm going to roll off some of the top end. I'm going to use old tape. You know? Okay, that's cool. We're going to get rid of that. Let's turn the mix all the way down. We're listening to it, and then we're going to blend that sound in. Oh, it's so sharp and abrasive, right? It's just like, it's painful. And the if you go too far, you can start to hear the processing of the transient fade into the unprocessed sound of the tonal, and it doesn't work. So there is a sweet spot, and there's only so far you can go. Okay, but all bypassed. Oof. Yeah, it's nice though. And I think if we combine a little bit of this EQ with it. Now let's hear the full phrase. Without. All right, so now we've kind of neutered the sound, right? We've controlled it. We've kind of dynamically reduced a lot of that nonsense that was up there. So I think now we can replace. This is this thing I like to call ruin and rebirth. We kind of ruin and get a lot of the nasty stuff out of there. We do some surgery, and now we can replace and we can refocus the clarity in the top end, maybe in a different area, maybe in a similar area, maybe with saturation, maybe with EQ. But somehow we're going to bring back in a controlled amount of top end now. You know, the work isn't done yet either. We could EQ this all day, I bet. You know, and everybody boosts and sweeps around, tries to find the problem areas like I just did. But sometimes just even like the best thing is just really, really getting a narrow cut and just sweeping it around till you hear some of that noise information go away. So I'm liking when it's cut. a balancing act. We've cut a bunch of clarity in the top end, and now we're low end heavy. The scales have been shifted, right? So we got to cut a little bit of the low end out. And that third hit is still just like so incredibly awkward. If this were me in our actual mix setting, this is when I would start automating specific notes, because you can only get so far just processing it, right? Overall, this is when I would get into I want my clip effects window. Does that exist? Okay, clip effects window, and then you can kind of get in there and get down and dirty. Still, and you could do a little soothe, a little spectral shaper, a little smooth operator, any one of the above. Sometimes just turning it all the way up and then just kind of it's tough. We got two different areas that are ringing. We've got the whistle, this one, 2.7, a very, very common guitar frequency to be annoying. But I'm listening more for like okay. Yeah, and just dynamic EQ on acoustic guitars just gets so wacky. So yeah, I think I would process that one differently. I'd just drag that down into that track. And maybe a little bit of just split EQ there too. There's just no substitute for just having a better performance. Like if I were producing this, I would just spend a lot of time just working with the performer to like just get that one. Let's get that one note without the buzz, because it's just almost impossible to naturally pull out. It takes a long time, probably way longer than any of you have patience to watch this video for. So, oh. Yeah, I mean, give me that again. Let's. It just hurts. It hurts. You know, we went a little too far with the top end. Let's add a little more back in. Okay, without anything. With plugins. Without. I don't know, man. I'm still working on it. So I no definitive answer here. It turns out you watching this video may have been a complete waste of time. But it's an exploration between yesterday and today. This is something I'm just beginning to think about, right? If we turn on metric AB and we just listen to the top end, because people are always listening to balance. You guys are thinking about balance as far as like low, mids, and highs. Are things balanced? Are the frequencies right? And it's like, God, dude, I'm more concerned with like what is the attack like? What is the transient information like in the top end? Is the top end smooth and approachable and buttery, or is it like just very aggressive? And for a slow ballad like this song, this guitar is pulled from, it just shouldn't be that way. Let's hear. You know, and then somebody would say, well, you need to be using FabFilter Pro MB2 in the fast, super fast mode on your top end. And I say, maybe you're right. I mean, maybe that's cool. Now let's unsolo the top end. Let's see how that sounds. Nah, I don't know about you, but my ears, they hear the dynamic changes in the top end. I'm not sure the physics of sound and what the rules are for this, but I feel like I can hear microdynamic changes in the top end, maybe even easier than I can in the mid-range and the low end. And it just sounds unnatural. Anyway, we're just thinking about transients, y'all. Really good stuff. This is me just experimenting, not knowing what I'm doing, but just having a good time, just trying stuff. And I figured I'd turn on the camera for you guys to join along. If you guys are interested, I do have a freaking mixing course you can go check out. Woo! Check it out in the comments. It's awesome. I go through 2 full mixes, 2 very different types of mixes. And the worst thing about mixing courses and Mix with the Masters is that the material is always amazing, right? But what I did in this course is I took super ordinary songs that were recorded in bedrooms where the quality was just kind of all over the place. And I didn't know what I was getting into, and I just mix it live on the spot with the camera on and go through a lot of the concepts that I like. If you're interested in that, you can check that out below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time, man. Thanks for hanging. Peace.